Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so today we are going to talk about the reason kung bakit merong motion. Okay, so ano bang reason kung bakit gumagalaw ang mga objects? The reason is merong force na in-exert dun sa object na yan. Okay, and to study force, we need to understand kung ano yung laws of motion, okay, na finormulate ni Sir Isaac Newton. Okay, and also apply them to yung everyday na situations. Okay, so today ang pag-aaralan natin is yung force. Okay, what force is, kung paano natin tinitreat yung force, and then we are also going to study the three laws of motion Newton, okay, in order to understand how to apply tawag dito, forces or how forces interact with each other, how forces interact on an object, okay, to cause it to move. Okay, so ano ba ang force? Okay, so alam natin from elementary, as early as elementary, or uh, and then even in high school, na a force is a push or a pull. Diba? If you push an object or pull an object, then you're applying force on an object. Then we can say that your push or your hand is interacting with that object na tinutulak mo or hinihila mo. Okay, and since force is a quantity that requires not just kung gaano kalakas mo ina-apply yung force, so magnitude ng force, but also yung direction ng force, kung saan mo ina-apply yung force na yun, then we consider force as a vector quantity. So it has both magnitude and direction. Okay, so ito yung mga common types of forces, okay, na ma-encounter natin sa everyday life. Okay, first type is normal force. Okay, basically ang normal force, ang definition of normal force is a force that is uh, caused by a surface, okay, pushing on an object. Typically, so halimbawa ito yung surface, okay, na pinag-uusapan natin dito. And you have this object, okay, that's on the surface. Okay, and itong surface na ito is exerting an upward force on the object. Okay, now kung titignan niyo yung upward force na yan is perpendicular dun sa surface. Ito yung surface ng object, ito yung upward force, so perpendicular yung upward force na yan. Ang tawag natin sa upward force na yan is a normal force. Normal kasi perpendicular. Okay, yung force na yan. So it doesn't matter kung ano yung direction or kung ano yung angle ng surface. Like in this second figure, okay, yung surface is angled at some, diba? At some, well, it's rotated at some angle. Okay. Still, yung normal force ay perpendicular pa rin doon sa surface. So normal force is perpendicular doon sa surface. Okay. Second type of force is frictional force. Okay, so itong force na to is the reason kung bakit tawag dito, kung bakit tayo nakakalakad, okay, kung bakit hindi tayo nagsislide ng basta-basta sa mga surfaces, okay, kung bakit umaandar ang mga vehicles and so on and so forth. And it's actually related to the normal force. Okay, so friction force is a force that is exerted on an object at itong friction force na to is parallel to the surface. Okay, so in this figure, makikita ninyo na yung frictional force ay in this direction. Okay, and yung friction force is always act opposite to the motion of the object. So halimbawa yung object ay gumagalaw in that direction, then yung frictional force ay uh, towards the opposite direction. Or if the motion is towards this direction, okay, then the frictional force, okay, is in this direction. Okay, so parating opposing yung frictional force na yun. Third type of force is a tension force or tensile. In some books, it's tensile force. Okay, basically, if you have some rope or string, di ba, or cord, okay, na ginagamit mo para hilain yung object na yun, then that rope, it's not your hand that's actually exerting the force, but it's the rope that's exerting the force on the object. So yung tawag natin sa force exerted by the rope on the object is a tension force. Okay, and then yung pinaka-common na force, of course, ay yung weight. And yung weight na ito ay dahil sa pull of gravity on an object. So this is a gravitational force. Okay. Weight is a gravitational force. And since ang gravitational force or gravity always acts towards the Earth, okay, then yung direction ng weight will always be downward if this is kung yan yung Earth. Okay, so, well, typically naman yung baba naman talaga yung ginagamit natin na reference, di ba, yung Earth. Okay, so, yun yung direction ng, anong tawag dito, nung weight. Now, of these three, okay, mapapansin nyo na yung forces are always exerted on the object. They're in contact with the object. So they are contact forces. Okay, on the other hand, yung weight, okay, may not necessarily be in contact with the object. So, halimbawa, binato mo yung object papataas. Okay, habang umakyat yung object, okay, the weight is always present. Hindi nawawala yung weight na yan kasi yung gravity is always present. Okay, hindi ba? Pag hinagis nyo naman, hindi naman mawawala yung gravity. Right? Okay, so ibig sabihin, the weight will always be present, the weight will always be directed downward. And this is an example of a non-contact force. Okay. Now, since, well, how do we, sinabi natin na pwede natin i-describe yung force as a, tawag dito, as a vector, which means na we describe a force in terms of its magnitude and its direction. And tulad nung ginagawa natin sa mga quantities na pinag-aralan natin, vector quantities na pinag-aralan natin before, ina-assign natin yung vector na yon with a vector arrow to denote yung length ng arrow denotes yung magnitude ng force. Tapos yung direction, kung saan nakaturo yung arrow, with respect to the positive x-axis, okay, ay yung direction ng force. Okay? So in this example, this is a figure na ito sa letter A 10 Newton pull directed 30 degrees above the horizontal. Okay, yan yung magnitude niya and ito yung direction. And then dito naman sa pangalawang figure, it's a 10 Newton push. Okay, it's directed towards on the object. Okay, and then yung direction is negative 45 or 45 degrees below the horizontal. Okay. So, of course, when you apply a force, when you apply a force on an object, okay, well, on an object, there can be many forces that are applied. Okay, and ang una nyong syempre i-consider parate na hindi nga nawawala unless you're in space is yung weight. So, pag tawag dito, pag nag-analyze kayo ng forces on an object, una nyo pa natin ilalagay yung weight and it's directed downward. Okay? And then there are other forces tulad nga ng tension, tsaka normal force and then friction. So all of them, pag inad nyo sila, okay, results to a net force. So you can add these forces in a way that you add vectors kasi force is a vector quantity. Similarly, okay, pwede nyo rin kunin yung components nung forces na yan. Okay, so pwede nyo kunin yung components ng individual forces or yung component nung resultant na force. And for you to do that, syempre magdodrawing muna kayo ng Cartesian coordinate system as a reference. Okay, and saka nyo kukunin yung yung components ng forces based on sa Cartesian coordinate system na yan. So dito sa figure, pinakita kong paano kunin yung kung paano nire-represent yung force in terms of the Cartesian coordinate system. Yung Cartesian coordinate system dito is not necessarily tawag dito yung um, not necessarily yung perpendicular, okay, or yung horizontal yung x-axis at vertical yung y-axis. Okay, and kung titignan niyo medyo tilted yung coordinate system niya. And yung reason kung bakit niyo tinitilt yan will depend on kung anong klaseng forces yung involved dun sa ang tawag dito, dun sa object. Okay? Your rotation will be out of convenience pagdating sa calculation. And tulad ng ginagawa din natin before sa vectors, you can add forces graphically, or you can add forces by breaking them down into their x and y components, and then isum nyo lahat ng x and y components bago nyo kunin yung resultant at saka yung direction ng forces. Okay? Okay. So, now, how do we now treat itong forces na ito? Okay, so, kung babalikan natin dito, yung net force, okay, yung resultant force, okay, so we're going to call it the net force, or F net, okay, is the sum of all the forces acting on an object. So if there are multiple forces, F1, F2, and so on and so forth, okay, so i-add nyo lahat yung mga yan vectorially. Okay, so you can sum their components, F1x plus F2x, and so on and so forth, along the y-axis. Okay, and saka nyo kunin yung net force. Okay, magnitude to ng net force. Okay, so sum ng forces along the x-axis squared plus sum ng forces along the y-axis squared square root, and then you can also determine yung direction niya. Okay, by taking the tangent, the inverse tangent of the sum of the forces along the x and y, okay, axis. Okay? So, ganyan natin sila iti-treat. Okay. So, okay. So now let's study yung laws of motion. Okay, Newton's first law, in particularly yung uunahin natin. So kung titignan nyo dito sa figure, okay, merong puck. Okay, ito yung ginagamit sa hockey. Okay, that is allowed to slide on a table. Okay, so pag nilagay nyo lang siya sa ordinary na table at pinaslide nyo yung puck na yun, okay, alam natin na mag-slide siya pero titigil siya. Okay, so tulak nyo siya dyan, and then after some distance, titigil siya. Okay. Pag pumili kayo ng isang table na smoother yung surface, okay, or for example, ice, okay, well, not ice, but a smoother table, mas malayo yung ito-travel niyang distance. Pero kung ilalagay nyo siya sa isang on ice, or ito ay air hockey table, nakakita naman kayo siguro ng air hockey table sa mga sa mga amusement, sa mga games, ano bang tawag doon, amusement parks, or sa games dun sa mga malls, okay? If you do that, mapapansin niyo na mag-slide much farther yung mga yung puck na ito, and that is because of the absence of the frictional force. So dun sa unang dalawa, kaya hindi sila nagsa-slide further ay dahil sa friction. Pero if you remove friction by putting the puck on ice, or putting it on an air hockey table. Okay. Tawag dito, then pwede siyang mag-slide off, let's say, indefinitely. Okay, so anong sinasabi dito? So to apply force, okay, when you apply force, then um, so ang ang implication nito is that yung force ina-apply niyo lang dun sa ano no, dun sa beginning, di ba? Para itulak lang yung puck. And if you remove the frictional force, then yung puck will simply move indefinitely, okay, without stopping. Okay, so habang gumagalaw yung puck, wala siyang friction force na na-experience. Okay, and ibig sabihin yung net force on the puck is zero. Okay, so pwede nyo tanongin, teka lang, sabi nyo kanina, may gravity. Yes, merong gravity. Tama kayo dyan. Okay, and that gravitational force is acting downward. But there's also a normal force. Okay, on an air hockey table, yung tawag dito, normal force na yon is not present kasi para nagde-levitate yung ano, yung air, yung puck, di ba? Pero merong air na nagpo-push on the tawag dito, on the puck upward. And yung force na ina-exert ng air na yon or yung normal force on the ice ay equal lang sa force na ina-exert ng gravity or yung kanyang weight. So along the vertical, zero din yung net force kasi equal lang yung dalawang forces, nagka-cancel lang sila sa isa't isa. Okay, and since wala na yung kamay mo para itulak siya constantly at wala na rin yung frictional force dun sa horizontal na ano na path, yung net force along the x and y axis ay zero. Okay? And alam natin na mag-move indefinitely yung object na yan. Okay? So, ang sinasabi natin dito is if there is no net external force, so oops, umaba yung ilong. If the net external force is zero, the net external force is zero, okay, then the object will remain at rest, okay, or in constant motion. So, if then the object will remain at rest or in constant motion. Okay? So, ito ngayon ang ating Newton's first law of motion. Okay. So, ang sinasabi ng Newton's first law of motion is pag walang net external force dun sa object, okay, hindi yan gagalaw kung originally hindi na siya gumagalaw. Or magpapatuloy lang siyang gumagalaw without changing direction or without changing yung speed. Okay? Remember na pag zero yung force, ang ibig sabihin nito ay zero din yung acceleration. And if you recall from yung previous lesson, acceleration causes an object to move in, tawag dito, to change its motion in two ways, di ba? Either increase or decrease yung speed, okay, or mag-change siya ng direction. But if there's no force, then and if the object is in constant motion, then it will remain in that motion, okay, without changing speed or changing direction. Okay, so itong tendency na to, okay, to remain uh, to remain at rest or to remain in constant motion is called inertia. So tendency of an object to remain at rest or in constant motion. Okay, we call that inertia. Okay, and we use itong concept ng inertia na to sa everyday life. Okay, without even thinking about it, right? Tawag dito, halimbawa, gusto niyo tanggalin yung alikabok sa unan ninyo, for example, or sa kumot ninyo, anong ginagawa ninyo? Pinapagpag nyo, di ba? So, nag-a-apply kayo ng force dun sa unan or dun sa kumot. Okay? And, syempre, yung unan mismo gagalaw. Pero yung alikabok, ang tendency ng mga yan is to remain at rest. Yung pag ginalaw niyo yung unan, bigla niyong ginalaw yung unan or yung kumot, then ang mangyayari is dun sa mga alikabok ay matatanggal sila dun sa unan. Okay? Kasi gusto nila dun lang sila sa position nila, di ba? So yun yung mangyayari. Okay, tawag dito pag gusto niyo maglagay ng ketchup sa pagkain, anong ginagawa niyo? Diba, sinishake niyo yung ketchup pababa, yung ketchup bottle pababa, di ba? Sinishake niyo yung ketchup bottle pababa para yung ang tawag dito para maglagay kayo ng force dun sa ah, ketchup na nasa loob at yung ketchup na yun ay tuloy-tuloy lang gagalaw kasi pipigilin nyo, i-stop nyo yung ketchup bottle. Diba? Tapos tuloy-tuloy lang gagalaw lang, nilalabas yung ketchup from the bottle. Okay? So yun yung mga examples na pinagagamitan natin ng inertia. Okay? And pag ang sinasabi natin dito is pag yung net force um, ay zero. Okay? If the net force is zero, then we say that the object is in equilibrium. Okay? If the net external force on the object is zero, then sinasabi natin na in equilibrium yung object na yan. Okay? So again, pag sinabing in equilibrium, not necessarily na tawag dito, hindi gumagalaw yung object. It could be na gumagalaw yung object pero constant yung kanyang motion. Now, there's also one thing to keep in mind when we talk about the law of motion, and that is yung frame of reference, okay, na pinagbabasehan natin. So, basically, ano ba ang frame of reference? Ang frame of reference is just tawag dito. Typically, mathematically, sinasabi natin na ito yung coordinate system. Okay, so if you're sitting down, then you imagine yourself on a coordinate system na kung saan siguro yung origin ng coordinate system ay kung saan kayong nakaupo. Or it could be in a corner of a room. Diba? So you define yung distance nyo from the corner of a room, okay, from that coordinate system, from that frame of reference. Okay. Now, uh, kung isipin niyo pag sumakay kayo sa isang vehicle, di ba? Sa bus, nakasakay kayo. Tapos, umaandar na yung bus. Tapos, biglang pumeno. Right? Okay. Anong tendency ninyo? Ang tendency niyo is mag-move kayo forward, di ba? Pag bigla siyang pumreno. And of course, that's inertia. But you can also ask yung question, bakit ako gumalaw? Or bakit kayo gumalaw? Bakit kayo nag-move forward? Wala namang force na nag-cause nung movement ninyo. Di ba? Okay. Now, the reason for that is, at that instance, na kung saan nag-decelerate yung bus. Okay? From a certain speed to say zero. Okay, nag-decelerate siya. Okay, yung frame of reference ninyo, which is yung bus na kinalalagyan ninyo, okay, ay nag-accelerate. Okay, and if the frame of reference is accelerating, it is not a valid frame of reference, okay, pagdating sa Newton's laws of motion. So if you want to use Newton's laws of motion, you can only use it in a frame of reference, okay, which has constant velocity or constant speed, okay, or is not moving. Okay, like for example, yun nga, tulad ng sinabi ko kanina, lagay kayo ng, imagine yung Cartesian coordinate system sa loob ng room niyo, lagay niyo sa corner ng room, okay? Yan. Pag nakasakay kayo sa bus, ilagay niyo yung origin ng coordinate system dun sa driver. Okay. So, yun na yung coordinate system ninyo. Pero once na, or pwede niyo ilagay yung coordinate system sa labas, sa isang puno, for example, and relative dun sa puno na yun, gumagalaw kayo. Pero once na mag-decelerate yung bus, okay, makikita niyo na yung coordinate system na yun is accelerating or has an acceleration, has negative acceleration. And then that's not a valid frame of reference. So yung Newton's laws of motion do not work for those types of references. Okay? If a frame of reference is tawag dito, is not accelerating, then we call it an inertial frame of reference. Okay? So yung mismong coordinate system is zero acceleration. Pero pag nag-accelerate yung frame of reference, we call it a non-inertial frame of reference. And in this case, Newton's laws do not work. Okay, so you could also ask, so kailan lang work? Uh, anong physics ang involved sa non-inertial frame of reference? Well, it's not covered in Physics 101, pero pagdating ninyo sa sa Physics 104, para sa mga physics majors, okay, you're going to study the theory of relativity by Albert Einstein. And yung theory of relativity na yun actually covers both inertial and non-inertial frame of references. Okay, so it turns out na nung ginawa ni Isaac Newton yung Newton's laws niya nung around 1600. Okay, after 300 years, andito na si Albert Einstein at sinabi niya na kulang yung tawag dito, yung physics na tinuturo na discover or na ni-reveal ni Isaac Newton. At sinabi niya na kaya siya kulang kasi yung non-inertial frame of reference ay hindi included. So yun yung ginawa ni Albert Einstein. Okay, gumawa siya ng physics na included both types of frames of references. So it can now explain kung anong nangyayari even if the frame of reference is accelerating. Okay, but that's in the future. Okay, and that's if you choose to stay in physics. Okay, so yun yung assumption para sa Newton's laws of, isa sa mga assumptions para sa paggamit ng Newton's laws of motion. Okay, now the second law of motion, okay, involves yung relationship ng force, okay, on its mass and on its acceleration. Okay, so sa first law, net force is zero. Sa second law, what if the net force is not zero and if there's ano ngayon anong mangyayari ngayon? So dito sa example na ito, this sa figure na ito, if there's zero net external force on the puck, then constant lang yung kanyang motion. Hindi magbabago ng direction, okay, at hindi magbabago ng speed. Okay, so pare-pareho yung speed niya at these particular instances. Okay, pero pag maglagay kayo ng external net force, okay, mapapansin nyo na yung velocity, okay, actually increases. Okay, kung tinutulak niyo yung puck na yun along the surface. Okay, and kung mapapansin nyo rin, if tawag dito, kung halimbawa yung puck, okay, ay nagmo-move originally in that direction, tapos bigla niyong hinawakan, okay, at nilagay niyo yung finger niyo dun sa puck at tinulak niyo in the opposite direction, then yung velocity niya, okay, ay magdi-decrease. Magdi-decrease naman. So we can see here that if the tawag dito, if the acceleration and the velocity are in the same direction, then the velocity increases. And if the acceleration and velocity are in the opposite directions, then the velocity decreases. So what can you say about these six? Ano magiging conclusion natin dito ngayon? Ang isang conclusion natin is that force has to be related to acceleration. So the larger the force you apply, then the acceleration also is larger. Okay? Now, dito sa figure naman na ito, if anong tawag dito, if you have a puck again, okay, and if you apply a force, okay, then mag-accelerate yung ano na yan, di ba? Yung puck na yan. Pero if apply a force that is twice larger than the original, then your acceleration ng puck will also be twice as much. Okay? Kung kalahati lang, then anong tawag dito, magiging kalahati lang din yung acceleration niya. On the other hand, yung hindi nakikita dito sa figure, if you increase, for example, yung mass niya, okay, then and if you apply the same amount of force dun sa twice the mass of the puck, okay, your acceleration will be smaller. In fact, half. Okay. So to have the same acceleration as this one, you need to apply twice the amount of force on this puck. So makikita rin natin dito na yung force, okay, na kailangan mong i-apply to keep it on the same acceleration is tawag dito proportional dun sa mass. Okay, so if we sum it all together, okay, ang makuha natin is, okay, so if a net external force is applied, if a net external force is applied, F net is applied, the object accelerates. Okay. So the direction of the acceleration is the same. It's the same as the net force. Okay. And then yung third, the mass of the object, tawag dito, is also, tawag dito, a factor pagdating dun sa force na i-apply ninyo. Okay, so, dito, the mass of an object, okay, times the acceleration, okay, vector of the object, okay, equals the net external force. Okay, as we can see here from yung figure na ito. Okay, so if we put that in equation form, then we have Newton's second law of motion. Okay, then the sum of all the forces, so ito yung net force, is just equal to yung mass times yung acceleration. Okay, nung object na yan. Okay, keep in mind that when you sum forces, it's always on one object. Okay? So, later on, magkakaroon kayo ng examples. So, magdi-discuss tayo ng examples na kung saan yung objects dun sa system ay dalawa or tatlo. Okay? So, you're going to write three net forces. Okay, you need to describe 3 net forces on each of those objects. So sa isang object, may isang net force dyan. Gagamitan niya ng sarili niyang second law of motion. I-apply niyo yung second law of motion dyan. And then, i-apply niyo yung second law of motion separately dun sa isa pang object. So may iba pang set of equations na lilitaw dun sa second object. Okay, hindi niyo pinagsasama yung dalawang objects na yan. Okay, so you apply it individually. Okay, kasi kitang-kita niyo naman dito yan sa equation. Kasi dito, this is the mass of the object on which the forces are applied. Okay, so mass of an object, isang object lang. Okay, on which the forces are applied. Which means na yung object na yun also accelerates. So acceleration ito of an object. So that acceleration is the acceleration of one object. Now, since okay, force is a vector quantity, then we can write yung sum ng forces in terms of its components. Okay, the sum ng forces along the x is equal to m times acceleration along the x-axis. Then sum ng forces along the y is equal to mass times acceleration along the y-axis. Sum of forces along the z-axis, kung meron, ay equal sa mass times acceleration along the z-axis. Okay, and this is because forces are vector quantities. Okay, so these statements actually make it easier for us to analyze yung forces kasi ang gagawin natin is to break down yung forces na yun into its components. And then i-add natin, titignan natin kung ano nangyayari sa bawat component along the x-axis tsaka along the y-axis. Okay, and then saka natin kukunin yung resultant force, okay, para makuha yung net na behavior ng object. Okay? So okay. Now yung mass has a unit of okay, ang unit ng mass is kilograms. Okay, at ang unit ng acceleration is Newton, is meters per second. Okay, so ang unit ngayon ng force, okay, ang force ay merong unit na kilogram meter per second squared. Or ang tawag natin dyan ay Newton. Okay, so 1 kilogram meter per second is equivalent to 1 Newton. Okay, or 1 N. Okay, Newton. So, there are also other units, okay, like pound. Okay, yun yung parating yung nadidinig pagdating sa US or sa UK. Okay, 1 pound is equal to 4.45 newtons. Okay, and then there's also yung CGS, okay, centimeter gram system. Okay, centimeter gram second na system. So dyne, so meron ding dyne of force. So that's 1 gram per centimeter, 1 gram centimeter per second squared, and this is just equivalent to 10 to the minus 5 newtons. Okay, so yun. Let's see. Okay. Now, balik tayo dun sa concept nung weight. Okay. Since we already described tawag dito yung weight and sinabi natin na related siya sa acceleration due to gravity, yung equation, okay, that relates weight to acceleration due to gravity is this. Weight is equal to the mass times acceleration due to gravity. So obviously, kung anong direction ng acceleration due to gravity, yun din yung direction ng weight. Okay? So there's a difference between what the weight is and what mass is. Pero in everyday lingo, hindi na natin dinidistinguish yun. So, di ba, ano bang, pag nag-fill out ka ng forms, ano bang weight mo? Hindi natin tinatanong kung ano yung mass mo. Di ba? Okay, kasi we assume, okay, na hindi naman magbabago yan sa surface ng Earth. Okay, which is true. But in higher physics, you learn that the acceleration due to gravity, actually towards the end of this course pala, you learn that the acceleration due to gravity is actually dependent on the distance r, okay, from the center of the Earth. As you go up, okay, as you go up in altitude, paliit ng paliit yung acceleration due to gravity. Okay, so and that's when distinguishing weight and mass comes in. When you, well, I don't know if it will happen to you, diba? But if you get the chance to become an astronaut and you go to other planets, okay, or to the moon, for example, you'll experience a different weight, okay? But you'll still have the same, you still have the same mass, okay? So, yan ang ating definition ng weight. Okay. Okay. So now we go to the last law of motion in Newton. So Newton's third law of motion. Okay, and this is one of the trickiest laws of motion. Okay, particularly because maraming nuances, okay, sa law na ito. Okay, so let me just write it down first. So Newton's third law of motion states that, okay, for every object, basically, di ba, for every object, there's an equal and opposite uh, tawag dito, reaction. If object A exerts a force on object B, okay, so that's your action force. Okay, then object B exerts a force on object A. Okay, that's the reaction force. Okay, these two forces have the same magnitude, but are opposite in direction, in direction. Yeah. Now, here's the crucial part. These two forces act on different objects. So one of the things that I've learned, okay, habang throughout yung years ng pagturo ko ng physics is that minsan nalilito tayo sa English. Okay. So you apply a force on an object, okay, and that force on the object is applied by something. Okay, so yun yung mga keywords na pwede nyo anin. So you apply a force on an object by something. So the force is applied on A by B. Ito yung action force. But if you apply a force on B by A, yung A yung nag-exert ng force sa B, din yan yung reaction force. And you can see here na the forces are applied on A and on B. They are applied on different objects. Okay? Tignan natin itong example sa figure. Okay, dito sa figure, may isang paa na sinisipa yung bola. So the foot exerts a force on the ball. So this is a force on the ball by the foot. Okay, so you can say na yan yung action force. Ano yung reaction force? The ball also exerts a force on the foot. So, on the foot by the ball. So, that's the reaction force. Okay, yan yung ganyan natin ina-apply ang Newton's third law of motion. Okay, and that's the reason kung bakit, anong tawag dito, pag paulit-ulit yung sinisipa yung bola, sumasakit yung paa ninyo because the ball is exerting a reaction force on your foot. Kung halimbawa na nainis kayo at sinuntok niyo yung pader, okay? You exerted a force. Okay? Your fist exerted a force on the wall. Okay? So the first object is the wall. Pero yung wall ay nag-exert ng equal amount of force on your fist, but in the opposite direction. So the second object is your fist. So force on your fist by the wall. Okay? Kaya sumasakit yung fist ninyo kasi nag-hit back you can say na nag-hit back yung wall. Merong reaction force na ina-exert yung wall on your fist. Okay? And kaya sumasakit yung fist ninyo because the wall exerts an equal amount of force. Now, yung concept ng third law of motion doesn't necessarily anong tawag dito? Have to be contact forces. It can be, okay, non-contact forces. Okay, so we call those forces as action-reaction pairs. Okay, so let's consider this example. So we have an apple sitting on a table, at yung table is standing tawag dito, on a floor. So, yung forces na ina-exert sa apple ay yung normal force. Ang normal force dito is the force exerted on the apple by the table. Okay. So, lagay natin na dito na. On the apple. Okay, by the table. Another force that is exerted on the apple, okay, is the gravitational force. Okay, yun yung weight niya. So, we have this weight and we have this normal force. The normal force is exerted on the apple by the table, and the weight is exerted on the apple by the earth. So these are not reaction forces. Kasi, diba sabi natin, action-reaction forces act on different objects. These forces act on one object. So these are not action-reaction forces. These are forces acting on the apple. Okay? And with this, pag ganito yung forces, we can use Newton's second law of motion. Okay, on the other hand, ano talaga dito? Action-reaction pair. Paano natin apply yung Newton's laws of motion dito? First, tignan natin yung ina-exert na force on the apple by the table. Ang reaction force dyan is force na ina-exert on the table by the apple. So yung apple ay nag-exert ng force dun sa table. Okay, at nararamdaman ng table yung force na yan. In the same way na, di ba, pag naupo kayo, you're exerting a force on the chair, pero nararamdaman niya rin yung chair sa inyo, sa katawan niya, di ba? So the chair is also exerting a force on you. So yun yung dalawa, yung action-reaction forces. And those forces are contact forces. Now, kung titignan nyo rito yung letter B, yung force na in-exert, yung weight, is exerted on the apple by the earth. Now, the earth also exerts a force on the apple. Okay, and even though they are not in contact, they are still action-reaction forces. Now, if you remove the table, okay, would Newton's third law still be applicable? Okay, So wala na yung force on the table. Okay, so wala na tong part na yan. Pero nandun pa rin yung weight. So the weight is the force on the apple by the earth. And still, there's an equal force, but opposite in direction, exerted by the apple on the earth. So ang ibig sabihin nun? Exerted by the apple on the earth. Ang sinasabi doon is sinihila ng apple ang earth paakyat. Di ba? Yun yung ibig sabihin nito eh. Etong araw na to tells us na hinihila ng earth pababa yung apple. Etong araw na to tells us na hinihila ng apple yung earth paakyat. Okay. These are valid action-reaction pairs. But how can it be na hinihila ng apple yung earth? Totoo ba yun? Okay, and for that matter, pag tumalon ba kayo, okay, at nasa ere kayo, hinihila kayo ng earth pababa, pero yung reaction force ninyo is hinihila niyo rin yung earth paakyat. Bakit hindi nyo nararamdaman or hindi nyo nakikita yung earth na lumalapit sa inyo? Dahil hinihila niyo siya, di ba? If you exert a pulling force on something, it should come closer to you. Bakit hindi ganun nangyayari sa earth? Well, the reason is that yung mass ng earth is extremely large. Okay? At mahirap siyang i-accelerate. So, di ba, ang net force, okay, ang forces ay equal and opposite on the earth and on the apple. So, kung ito yung apple, okay, yan yung mass ng apple, sabihin natin. Okay, yung acceleration niya is g. Okay. Sorry. Yung mass ng apple at yung acceleration niya ay g. On the other hand, yung mass ng Earth is very, very large. It's about 6 million times. No, sorry. Wait, hindi ko maalala. So it's about 6 times 10 to the 24 times larger, okay, than the mass of the apple. Okay, so ang laki-laki ng mass ng Earth kumpara sa mass ng apple. Ibig sabihin, if it is to be the same amount of force, okay, then yung acceleration niya ay sobrang liit. Okay, sobrang liit na acceleration that it doesn't really move at all in that moment na pababa kayo sa Earth. Okay? So, hindi nyo nakikita na yung Earth lumalapit sa inyo kasi the acceleration is extremely small. Okay. Okay. So, yun yung isang application ng, ganyan natin ina-apply ang third law of motion. Okay. Now, how do we apply itong Newton's laws of motion? Okay, pagdating sa mga, ang tawag dito sa mga examples. Okay. Sa mga systems, physical systems. The first thing that you need to do, of course, is to identify all the forces acting on the object. Okay, so pag na-identify niyo na yung lahat ng forces na nag-act on the object, okay, then what you need to do now is to draw a free body diagram. A free body diagram, okay, is a drawing where you have the object that you're considering, okay, and where you also draw yung mga forces that are acting on that object. Now, at this level, we assume na all objects are point objects. So, wala tayong pakialam sa dimensions ng objects na. If you see dito sa mga figures na to, merong runner, basketball player, and diver. Wala tayong pakialam sa height nila. Okay? So, we consider them as point objects. So, dito sa unang example, sa unang figure na merong runner. Okay, yung runner na yan, okay, ay nakakaramdam ng dalawang forces. Yung unang force ay yung weight. Remember, yung weight, hindi pa natin nawawala yan. Okay, pangalawang force ay yung force na inexert nung starting block. Okay, ito yung starting block, yung inaapakan niya, yan. Uh, dun sa runner. Okay, so these are forces both on the runner. Weight is exerted on the runner by the earth at yung second na force is exerted on the runner by the starting block. Okay, so yan yung dalawang forces. So you draw yung dalawang forces na yon on the runner. Yung runner yung object. So that's a free body diagram. So letter B, tumalon yung basketball player. Ano yung mga forces na involved dito. So may dalawang basketball players na kinonsider, itong una na tumalon at itong pangalawa na nasa floor lang. So nung tumalon yung isang basketball player, okay, ang force na nararamdaman niya is yung pull ng gravity. So yan yun. Okay, wala na siya ibang force na nararamdaman. Okay. So dun sa pangalawa, dun sa player na nasa floor, dalawa yung forces na naramdaman niya, yung pull ng gravity and yung force na ine-exert ng floor sa kanya, which we call the normal force. Okay? So, yan na yung free body diagram for this person na tumatalon at ito yung free body diagram para sa person na nasa ground. Okay? Dun sa third figure, ano-ano yung mga forces na nag-act on the diver. So, you have yung weight. Hindi nawawala pa natin yan. Yung weight parating nandyan. Then you also have yung buoyant force, which you will learn about siguro sa third part ng course na ito. Third or fourth part. Then of course, may flippers ka dyan. So yung flippers na yun, yung movement ng flippers na yun causes the diver to move forward. So meron kang force na inexert ng water actually on the diver. Okay. And then there's also a force exerted also by the water na nasa harap niya. Okay? Which prevents him from moving forward further, and that's called the drag force. So, ito yung free body diagram para diyan sa diver. Papapansin nyo na lahat ng mga forces na yun ay nilagay natin in such a way na kung saan yung mga buntot nila ay magkakadugtong. So, ito yung buntot ng vectors. Okay, nag-describe dun sa dalawang forces, pinagdugtong natin. Okay, buntot ng dalawang vectors na normal at saka weight, pinagdugtong natin. Then yung buntot ng apat na forces that are acting on the diver. Okay, yan, lahat yan magkakadugtong dun sa isang point lang. Okay, so that's how we draw the free body diagram. This will be so much helpful later pag nag-analyze na tayo ng forces. Okay. So, now, itong discussion na ito ay nasa chapter 4 ng Young and Friedman. Okay. And there are many examples na diniscuss dun sa book. I highly recommend na basahin yung mga examples na yon. Okay. I'm not going to discuss them. Okay, but instead, I'm going to discuss 4 new examples which are taken from Young and Friedman then at the end of chapter 4. Okay, mas maganda siguro yun na pandagdag dun sa mga examples that are already present in the book. Okay, so before you go any further, okay, i-review nyo itong napag-aralan natin. Okay, go through the examples muna na nasa chapter 4. Okay, pwede nyo rin tignan yung examples na nandun sa ibang books. Okay, and then saka nyo balikan tong video at panoorin yung mga 4 na examples na i-discuss ko. Okay. So yung first example na i-discuss ko is this. Okay, so dito sa problem na ito, okay, merong SUV, okay, na stuck sa putik. Okay, so workmen use 3 horizontal ropes, producing the force vectors shown in figure E4-2. Okay, so yung vectors na yan, yung red arrows na yan, represent yung ropes na humihila dun sa kotse, ropes exerted on the SUV, exerted by each of the workmen. So, ang tanong is letter A, find the X and Y components of each of the 3 poles. And letter B, use the components to find the magnitude and direction of the resultant of the 3 poles. Okay, so we start by assigning, di ba, yung variables dun sa vector. So let's say F1 is 985 newtons at yung direction is 31 degrees with respect to the positive x-axis. Then let's assign F2 to be equal to 788 newtons, yung pangalawang force, with a direction that is equal to 32 degrees. Okay, pero kung with respect to the positive x-axis yan, dadagdagan niya ng 90 degrees. Okay, so that's equal to 122 degrees. And then yung third na vector is 411 newtons. Okay, kung saan yung direction is 52 degrees, pero with respect to the positive axis, dadagdagan natin 180 degrees. So that will be 233 degrees. Okay, so tignan natin ngayon yung x components of each of the 3 poles. So yung x component ng first pole, F1x, is 985 newtons times cosine 31 degrees. Okay. So this gives us 844 newtons. Yung y component ng F1 is 985 newtons times sine ng 31 degrees. So this is 507 newtons. Okay? Check natin. Parehong positive yung x and y components. Titignan natin itong arrow dito, yung vector na ito. Nasa first quadrant siya. So tama na parehong positive yung x and y components. Tamang calculation natin. So F2 naman. F2x, okay, yung x component ng F2 is 788 newtons times cosine ng 122 degrees. This gives us negative 418 newtons. Yung y component naman ng F2 is 788 newtons times sine ng 122 degrees. Okay, so this gives us 668 newtons. Check. Yung 788 newtons ay nasa second quadrant. Okay, negative, sa second quadrant, it's negative x and positive y. Okay, so ito yung negative x at positive y. So, ibig sabihin, tama yung nakuha nating sagot. Okay, may sense yung nakuha nating sagot. Yung F3 naman, yung x component niya is 411 newtons times cosine ng 233 degrees. Okay, equal to sa negative 247 newtons. And yung y component ng F3 is 411 newtons times sine ng 233 degrees equal sa negative 328 newtons. So both negative yung x and y components, which means nasa third quadrant siya talaga. And yun naman yung nakikita natin dito sa figure. Okay, so that's letter A. Okay, so letter B, ang gagawin natin is kunin natin yung net force along the x-axis. So 844 newtons plus negative 418 newtons plus negative 247 newtons. Okay. Ang sagot dito is 179 newtons. Along the y-axis, this is 507 newtons plus 668 newtons minus 328. newtons. Okay, so this is 847 newtons. So yung net force ngayon is Fx squared plus Fy squared square root. Okay, equal ngayon to sa 179 newtons squared plus 847 newtons squared square root. Okay, at ang sagot dito is 866 newtons. And yung direction is tangent inverse ng 847 newtons divided by 179 newtons equals to 78 degrees. Now, both x and y components ay positive, so nasa first quadrant siya. Itong 78 degrees ay nasa first quadrant. So yung angle na to is already correct. So if we draw that dito sa figure, it will be somewhere here with this amount of magnitude. Okay, based on the lengths of the arrows lang. So yan yung ating resultant na force o yung net force. Okay, we can try to do that by tawag dito, tinry kong gawin na yung graphical method simply by using yung drawing, okay, dito sa Word or sa PowerPoint. So nag-insert lang ako ng shapes at tinignan ko yung graphical na result. So, i-send ko rin naman sa inyo to. At kung titignan nyo rito, ito yung mga arrows na yun. Okay, so ito, at saka ito. So, ito yung 985 newtons, ito yung 788 newtons, at saka ito yung 411 newtons. Okay, now, if I move these arrows, yeah, if I move, oops, okay, delete ko na lang to. Okay, if I move these arrows here, okay, oops, asa na sila? Yan. Ah, okay, makikita natin na, okay, so meron konting error. But it's fine. Makikita natin na hindi nagmamatch. Okay. So, hindi tama yung graphical at saka yung hindi nagmamatch yung graphical at saka yung by computing, yung pag kinompute natin. And the reason for that is hindi accurate yung arrows, yung red arrows na yan. So if you get a ruler and you measure the lengths of each of these arrows dun sa figure na ito, dito sa figure na ito, dyan, okay, hindi yan accurate. Hindi sila to scale. Okay. So kaya hindi accurate yung lalabas na result if we do a graphical method base dito sa arrows lang na ito. Okay? So, kaya huwag kayo magtaka kasi baka yung ilan sa inyo gawin yan. Okay, so just letting you know na may ganyang klaseng discrepancy. Okay, next problem. So a man is dragging a trunk up the loading ramp of a mover's truck. The ramp has a slope angle of 20 degrees and the man pulls upward, okay, with a force F whose direction makes an angle of 30 degrees with the ramp. Letter A, how large a force is necessary for the component f of x parallel to the ramp to be 90 newtons? So yung given dito is that yung x component is 90 newtons. And yung force, okay, so yung x component, ito yun, no? So ito yung x component, yan yung fx. Then of course, ito yung y component, fy. Okay, so how large a force is necessary for the component parallel to the ramp, okay, to be 90 degrees. Alam natin ang f of x is just f cosine of theta. Ang theta dito na i-consider natin ay 30 degrees. So yung F dito ngayon is just equal to Fx over cosine theta. So 90 newtons divided by cosine ng 30 degrees. Equal ngayon to sa 104 newtons. Okay. So, yan yung force, okay, 104 newtons na required para hilain yung tawag dito, trunk na yan. Okay, letter B, how large will the F component, the Y component, be? Okay, so we know that Fy is equal to F sine theta. So yung Y component is just 104 newtons times sine ng 30 degrees. So Fy. And that will give us 52 newtons. Okay. So ito ay 52 newtons. Ito naman ay 90 newtons. Yung X component is 90, 52 newtons yung Y component, and then yung net force is 104 newtons. Okay. Next problem. So world-class sprinters can accelerate out of the starting blocks with an acceleration that is nearly horizontal and has a magnitude of 15 meters per second squared. How much horizontal force must a 55-kilogram sprinter on the starting blocks exert on the starting blocks to produce this acceleration? And which objects exert the force that propels the sprinter, the blocks or the sprinter herself? Okay, so given na yung acceleration, okay, is nearly horizontal at yung magnitude is 15 meters per second squared. Okay, so direction is 90 if we assign, oh, sorry, 0. Okay, if we assign it the horizontal axis to be the positive x-axis. Okay. And then yung mass ng sprinter is 55 kilograms. Okay, kung i-assume natin na ginamit niya lahat ng mass niya para itulak yung ano na yan, yung sprinter block na yan. So itong sprinter, starting block na yan. Okay, then we can say na yung force na in-exert niya on the block, okay, is equal to yung buong mass na ginamit niya, okay, times yung acceleration niya nung nagano siya, nung tumakbo. Okay. So that gives us 825 newtons. And the direction of the force is the same direction as the acceleration. Okay, so towards the right. Okay, or ganyan, in direction. Okay. Now, which object exerts the force that it propels the sprinter, the blocks or the sprinter herself? Now, according to Newton's third law of motion, yung sprinter, tinutulak niya yung sprinter is exerting a force, dito ko nalagay, is exerting a force on the block. Okay? At yung force na yun ay towards the left. Okay? Yung reaction force is that the block, starting block, is exerting a force on the sprinter. Okay? It's the same amount of force according to Newton's third law, pero in the opposite direction. Okay? And since yung sprinter ay nag-move towards the left, so yung reaction force yung i-consider natin dito, which means na yung block, okay, yung object, okay, na nag-exert ng force that propels the sprinter. Okay. Okay. And final problem for the day. So we have two crates, one with mass 4 kilograms and the other with mass 6 kilograms. sitting on the frictionless surface of a frozen pond connected by a light rope. Okay. A woman wearing golf shoes for traction pulls horizontally on the 6 kilogram crate with a force F that gives the crate an acceleration of 2.5 meters per second squared. Okay, so what is the acceleration of the 4 kilogram crate? And then draw a free body diagram for the 4 kilogram crate. Use that diagram and Newton's second law to find tension T in the rope that connects the two crates. Draw a free body diagram for the 6 kilogram crate. And what is the direction of the net force on the 6 kilogram crate? Which is larger in magnitude, the tension or the force? And then use part C and Newton's second law to calculate the magnitude of F. Okay, so tingnan natin kung ano muna ang given. We start with what you know. So, yung alam natin, knowing na dyan na yung masses ay 4 kilograms at 6 kilograms. Okay? Now, this tells us, okay, na walang friction. So, forget about friction for this problem. Anong ini-imply nito? Connected by a light rope. Light rope meaning negligible negligible yung mass. Mass of the rope is negligible. Okay, bakit mo kailangang i-neglect yan? Well, to answer that, okay, we're going, masasagutan na rin natin yung letter A. Okay, pero bago natin gawin yan, tignan muna natin kung ano pa yung ibang given. Okay, may golf shoes, okay, yung woman, okay, so ibig sabihin hindi siya gumagalaw. Okay, so stationary siya dyan. Okay, and she is pulling horizontally, okay, with the force F that is directed towards her. In the figure, it's directed towards the right. Okay, so ano ngayon yung acceleration? First question is, what is the acceleration of the 4 kilogram crate? Well, tignan muna natin kung ano acceleration ng buong system. Pag hinila tawag dito, pag hinila nung babae na to, yung dalawang crates na yan, okay. Well, yung isang crate, she is essentially pulling on the two crates. Diba? Hindi lang isa. Diba? Kasi pag hinila niya yan, dalawa yung hinihila niya. Now, pag yung tali ay merong mass, okay, yung hindi negligible yung mass ng tali. Okay. Siyempre, idadagdag mo yung mass ng mga tali dun sa hinihila niya. Right? So that's why the mass of the rope is negligible para hindi na natin po iisipin yung mass ng tali at hindi na natin siya idadagdag dun sa calculations. So essentially, ang hinihila ng babae ay both yung 4 kilogram at saka yung 6 kilogram na masses. Okay, now if sa paghila niya ng 6 kilogram na mass, okay, ay nag-cause siya ng acceleration na 2.5 meters per second on the 6 kilogram mass. The only way this makes sense is that for the 4 kilogram mass to also have the same acceleration. So yung acceleration ng 4 kilogram na mass would have to be 2.5 meters per second squared then. Diba? Bakit? Kasi there's only one force that pulls the entire tawag dito, the two crates. At yung force na yun ay yung force na i-exert nung babae. It doesn't make sense na magkaiba sila ng acceleration, yung 4 kilograms at 6 kilograms kasi one would be, kung halimbawa yung 6 kilogram mass ay smaller yung acceleration niya kaysa 4 kilogram mass, mas mabilis yung pag-andar ng 4 kilogram mass. At saan naman nanggaling yung extra force na yun para mag-accelerate siya ng mas malaki, di ba? So, and then, ang tawag dito, kung mas maliit naman yung acceleration ng 4 kilogram mass, ibig sabihin, mas mabagal siyang mag-move, di ba? Mag-move away yung 4 kilogram na mass. Ano naman yung nagkukos para mag-move away yung 4 kilogram na mass? So, they would have to be moving in sync. Okay, and which means na the acceleration of 4 kilogram na mass is the same as the acceleration of the 6 kilogram na mass. Okay, so yan yung letter A. Letter B, draw a free body diagram for the 4 kilogram crate. So, pag dinawing natin yung free body diagram dyan, okay, okay. Ang hindi nawawala is weight. Makikita natin na yung block, yung crate ay on the floor. So, ibig sabihin, meron siyang normal force at yung normal force is directed upward. Okay. And then yung third ay yung tension, okay, na paghila no, ng rope. Okay. So, yan yung free body diagram for the 4 kilogram crate. Now, we have, if we draw tawag dito, Cartesian coordinate system, um, okay, ulitin ko na lang. So, ganito ang gagawin ko. So, mag-drawing muna ako ng Cartesian coordinate system plus y and then plus x. Okay, so ako ilalagay yung forces. And then, yeah, normal force, weight, and yung tension. Okay. So, along the y-axis, sige, along the x-axis, ano-ano ang mga forces along the x-axis? Iisa lang. And tension lang yun. So, alam natin na from second law Newton, the sum of all the forces ay equal sa mass times acceleration. And yung acceleration along the x-axis, okay, is the acceleration of the 4 kilogram block. So, therefore, yung tension ngayon is the mass of the 4 kilogram block times yung acceleration niya. Okay, so tension is equal to 10 newtons. At ang direction ng tension na yun, as shown in the figure, is towards the right. Dun sa figure. Okay? Letter C, draw free body diagram for the 6 kilogram crate. So, drawing ulit tayo ng Cartesian coordinate system. Okay, then, we draw a free body diagram, okay, for the crate. So, yung hindi nawawala again is yung weight. Yung 6 kilogram crate ay nasa floor. So, nandiyan din yung normal force. Then, may rope na humihila sa kanya in this direction. Okay, yan ay T pa rin. Bakit T? Kasi itong T na ito is the force exerted on the 4 kilogram crate by the 6 kilogram crate. And itong T na ito is the force exerted on the 6 kilogram crate by the 4 kilogram crate. So these two T's are actually action and reaction forces. Okay. And then the fourth force is yung force ng paghila ng babae. So, sa C, we now have, sorry, nakalimutan ko sa, sa letter B. Balikan ko lang sandali. Sa letter B, if we sum all the forces along the y-axis, normal force, okay, is positive kasi along the positive y direction siya. And yung weight is negative kasi along the negative y direction siya. At ito ay equal to 0. Bakit 0? May acceleration ba along the y-axis? Yung 4 kilogram block ba ay nagmo-move or nag-accelerate ba siya along the y-axis? Hindi, di ba? So, yan ay equal to 0. Okay. Oops. So, mass times acceleration along the y-axis equal to 0 kasi ay is equal to 0. Okay. Now, letter C. Now, if we consider yung forces acting along the x-axis on the 6 kilogram block, we have F minus T is equal to 6 kilograms times 2.5 meters per second squared. Okay. where F minus T is equal to 15 newtons. Okay, so alin yung mas malaki ngayon? T or F? Well, this is a positive number. So F minus T, okay, is actually greater than 0 kasi positive, di ba? So ibig sabihin F is greater than T. So the magnitude of F is greater than the magnitude of T. Anong direction ng net force? Since positive 15 newtons yung net force, okay, positive 15 newtons yung net force, ang direction niya is towards the right. Okay, and letter D, use part C to solve for the magnitude of F. So from here, okay, we get F minus T is equal to 15 newtons, or F is equal to T plus 15 newtons. Pero alam natin na yung T ay 10 newtons. So this will be equal to 10 newtons plus 15 newtons. So F is equal to 25 newtons. Okay, so that's the total force that is required for the woman to pull on the two cranes. Okay. Okay, so I hope these examples ay nakatulong sa inyo kung paano gamitin yung Newton's laws of motion. Okay. In the next lecture, we're going to discuss more examples. Okay, and apply itong Newton's laws of motion further sa mas, well, I won't say complicated, but mas challenging, okay, na problems. Okay, so thank you very much and see you sa next na meeting.